Alrighty, what is going on, Bonfire Family? So, today, if you click this video, we're going to be going over how to set up your taxes, periods, rate details, and spot details. It's going to be a little longer of a video because every single section has a part to play. So, sit back, relax. I'll walk you through how to do it. It's very simple and very easy. We're going to go ahead and navigate over to the Editor tab. Once we are here, let's go ahead and go to the Periods tab. This is going to be the first section you are going to want to complete when you're building out your rates. Now, since we are in 2026, you have a few options that you can do when you're creating a new period. Let's go ahead and click Add New. These three options are a year-round period, a season period, and an event period. If you are year-round, so for all of 2026, from January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2026, you are going to want to click a year-round period. Make sure that the 2026 period is active and not a 2025 or 2027. We're going to add that. Well, it would be helpful if I put in the name. There we go. Add period. So we have added this period. Now, we're going to go ahead and hit Add New. What if you're seasonal? What if you're from May to October? What you can do is still have that seasonal 2026 name, and we're going to go and put in the dates of our 2026 season, which is going to be May 1st for this example, and we're going to go to October 31st. We're going to add that period. It's that simple. Now that we added our year-round seasonal, what if you want to up your rates for that year? Very easy to do. This is for Memorial Day, 4th of July. You're going to want to go hit Add New. And let's go ahead and do Memorial. Let's do 4th of July. When we do the 4th of July event, we know it's not year-round, we know it's not seasonal, so we're going to have to do event. Now with this event, depending on what weekend you're going to be doing it, some people like to start it on Thursday and then end on a Sunday. Some people like to start Friday and on a Monday. Really prefer with what you want. For this one, we're going to go Thursday night, and we are going to go till Sunday or Monday. We're going to go ahead and hit Add Period. Now, if you don't have an event, you can fast forward and go to the rate details. But it is important when you do have an event, we do have this option and toggle where if a guest is trying to book online, they are required to reserve the whole event date that you have in place. So for this instance, for 4th of July, I have the 2nd through the 5th. And when I have this toggle, they cannot go from July 1st to the 4th. They can do July 1st through the 8th, but they cannot go in between these dates. If you don't want that to happen, just toggle it and save it. Alrighty, I went ahead and deleted these periods that we created because we already have some in there that are the exact same. Now, let's create our rates. So this is where it could get confusing, but it's actually very, very simple. I'm going to go ahead and create a rate. Here are the 4 different rates that we have. We have a flat rate, which is a fixed daily rate that's applied to a spot each day. So if you have $40, it's going to be $40 Monday, $40 Tuesday, Wednesday, and so forth. You have dynamic, which means you have a daily rate, you have a weekly rate, a monthly rate, as well as a seasonal rate and a weekend rate. Compound legacy. So a compound legacy rate is different from a compound dynamic rate, and I'll get to the compound dynamic, but that's because a legacy rate doesn't have anything to do with the periods that I just did. A compound legacy is going to be a daily, weekly, monthly that is not associated to a period. So you won't have to put any period within the system. It's just automatically going to be a nightly, weekly, monthly, whatever you put in there for those prices. And then the compound dynamic. This is going to be your daily, weekly, monthly, and it is period specific. So let's go ahead and do one together. I'm going to do RV rate in all caps. We're going to create that rate. All right, now here it is. So we have our RV rate and we have our compound dynamic. Now, what you'll see when you scroll down here is you see these periods that we created at the very start. Now, these periods are important if you have different events or you have an off season, you have a high season, summer, and you have different rates that are associated to that. So let's do this, for example. We have our 2026 season from the 1st to the 31st. All you have to do is click, and you get this drop down of daily, weekly, monthly. It's super easy here. All you have to do is put in those prices. And that's all there is to it. Now, if you have an event or you have seasons that's kind of like this right here, the first half of the season, end of the season, you would be able to say, okay, well, we're going to do 50 as the daily, we're going to do 80 as the weekly, and we're going to do 120 as the monthly, and then we can go down and hit this end of season, and we know our rates are going to be a little cheaper. So we're going to do 25, we're going to do 50, and we're going to, and these are all fictitious numbers, and we're going to do 100. For the 4th of July, we're going to up those rates, and we're going to do 50. Obviously, it's not going to be a week or a month stay, so we're just going to hit it there. So that's for the compound dynamic. Now, when we start getting into the other rates, like a compound legacy, you can see those periods go away. Kind of like with what I just talked about, the periods section doesn't really matter if your rates are never going to change for a specific spot. Dynamic, you still have your periods here. You can have that drop down. You still have your daily, weekly, monthly, but now you have a seasonal, which is the seasonal option. If you have a guest that's booking from the 1st to the 31st, or maybe right here for the first half of the season, if they book on May 1st to July 16th, you can put this price as $2,000, and that will be the seasonal price no matter what. Within the weekend daily, so this one is going to be a little tricky, not too tricky. Stay with me. So for your weekend daily, it depends on when your campground is going to do weekends. I'm going to actually scroll over here to the park settings. If you look down how to set up your online booking page, I touched on this weekend days a little bit. Depending on when your weekend days are, it could be Saturday and Sunday, Friday and Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For right now, we're just going to do Saturday and Sunday. And since I already have that, those changes are saved. But that weekend pricing is going to apply to whatever you place here. So when we go back to our rate details and we go to RV rate, we can actually go to this dynamic, and we can see that weekend daily rate is going to be $40 a day. And boom, that's how you do it. Lastly, we have our flat rate. You can just put in, let's say, $40, and this is going to be per night. So that's all you would have to do. Now, if you want period specific, click this check, and you're going to be able to do $40 for the first half of the season, and maybe you want to do $50 at the end of the season. Very simple stuff here. So that is all about the rates. We're going to keep scrolling down. You do have the option to charge per guest. You can either do per guest or global adults and children. How this feature works is, let's say for this specific rate, you're going to want a max of 6 guests. You're going to include 1 adult, and you're going to include 1 child. Now, what happens if 4 people book? Well, an adult and a children are going to be included. Now, if you have 1 adult and an additional adult and child coming, If you put this at $5 and you put this at $3, you're going to gain an additional $8 from that reservation. Now we're going to get into the taxes and fees section. The taxes and fees is very simple. We didn't overcomplicate it. I'm going to go and head over to the taxes and fees. Now, if you have a sales tax or you have some type of state tax that you need to put in there, it's super easy to do. We're going to hit add new, hit state, type in state tax. I'm going to do a rate of 4.5%. This is going to be an accommodation tax. And we know that this is percentage-based pricing, and we can add that tax. Now, some of you might be asking, well, I saw that there is a merchandise tax. Well, this merchandise tax is for some of our campgrounds that do POS. If you have a amenity or an item that you'd like to be taxed, you can add it here. Also within the POS, you do have the option to make a amenity tax exempt. Alrighty, we're going to go back to our rate details, go back to our RV rate. We can scroll down and we now have that state tax. In order to turn that on, all you have to do is click this check. You can actually see when you want that tax to be placed. So if you don't want that tax on a monthly rate, all you have to do is click that checkbox. All right, now we're over on the deposit. So for the deposit, pretty simple here as well. If you want 100% of those bookings, you just type in 100 and you're going to get 100%. If you want 50% as the deposit, you can do it here. If you want a flat rate, you can do that here. So it's very customizable to what you want. Next, minimum maximum days. So for this rate, if you have to have a minimum days of 2 and you're going to do no maximum days, that's great. But if you do have maximum days, you can place that here. Electricity allowance per month for those electric meter readings. And then we have our cancellation policy. So within the cancellation policy, we have anything that ranges from a day to 30 days. Usually I say, hey, reference website for the cancellation policy. And that's going to come at the very end of the online booking for your guests. Now, the biggest thing to know about these rates is a rate is associated to a spot. Now, one rate can be associated to multiple spots. Usually within a campground, you're only going to have about 1 to 3 rates, unless you have about 200 sites. You shouldn't have a crazy amount of rates. There are specific situations that you might have a little bit more, but with what you're seeing in this example, this is our test account. So there has been a lot of rates here. So typically, you're probably only going to have maybe 1 to 5 rates, and that's pushing it a little bit. So within a spot, we're going to go over to the spot details. Let's go to S1 for an example. You have this section right here, which is rate. We just created this RV rate, but I wanted to show you that each spot is associated to one rate. But each spot can have the same rate, is what I'm saying. If you have a rate that is $40 a day and you want that for all of your sites, that's super easy to go do. All you have to do is go here, go to your RV rate, going to hit flat, we're going to do $40, we're going to hit save, we're going to go to spot details, and we're going to ensure that that RV rate is checked and hit save. That's how easy it is. Lastly, let's talk about spot details. How do you make a spot? What do you need to do? So let's go ahead. Let's make a new one. We're going to do a test spot. We know that this rate is going to fall under the RV rate we just created. We know that the spot type is a back end. We want a charcoal grill. It's there. We have both sides slide out. Max trailer length, we're going to go 35. This is very important as well. If you have a guest that is coming in and they have a trailer length that exceeds that spot, it's going to let them know, hey, your trailer length is too long. we're going to have to bring you back and you're going to have to find a spot that fits your trailer. You have the opportunity to hide a spot online. So if this is checked, that spot is not going to appear online through the online booking page. For infinite capacity, if you have a spot that is tent camping and it's a whole acre of land and you don't care who's there, it can be reserved multiple times by multiple different people at the same time. This is where infinite spot comes in handy, infinite capacity. And then additional settings. So if you have AC, cable, pets allowed, you don't have a picnic table or sewer, but you have water, boom, that's all you do. And now you can add that spot. So that spot is going to be all the way down here. Here's our test spot. You do have the opportunity to add a description to help your guest out through the online booking. We can say that this is a great spot with a great view. We can keep scrolling down. Looks like everything's saved. And we can also add an image. So let's go ahead, add an image real quick. That's Justin Timberlake with a Grammy. So let's do that. Alrighty. So we added that image and we're going to go ahead and hit save. Now, if you're adding a new spot, I've already done a video on the interactive map. But for this example, let's go ahead and add this spot on the map. We're going to add this test spot. We're going to hit save. And we're going to place this spot right here. So save. Alrighty, so if you've made it this long, we have went through this whole process. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like. We are now on the online booking page. We have our 2 adults. Let's do it from here to here. Let's go to our test map. Let's go to our test spot. And there we go. We have Justin Timberlake. And we also have a great spot with a great view and all of our amenities that we added. Alrighty. They will be able to put in their information and they're good to go. So thank you for sticking along. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. This should be a very easy process. But if you find yourself stuck, please don't hesitate. Thanks, guys.